Profit is lifeline of any business, and without this, no business can survive. To earn profit, we need to do two things. One is to realize all your receivables, and the second is to control your cost. In export business, realization of your proceeds is vital not only for your own business but also for the as per the FEMA rules and regulations. Hence, ensuring the security of payment and the recovery of your export proceeds are very vital and very important. Hi, my name is Samir Mehta. I will share my experience on these two subjects, how we used to do this.
For latest updates, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon.
Ensuring security and recovery of export payments. There are certain golden rules one should follow. Export business must be done through banks only. The bank charges should be included in your cost. Saving bank charges is like penny saved, pound foolish. Direct documents, even in case of 100% advance payment, also should be routed through bank, or you should lodge in the bank, as your export proceeds has to be settled against the IFRC received issued by the bank. Direct transaction with foreign buyer must be avoided. Know your customer. This is very important in export transaction, especially you are dealing with a foreign buyer. Check the authenticity of the buyer by getting the registration number, or like GST which we have, through Indian Embassy or any other agency, preferably a government agency or a chamber of commerce also. Share your documents if required with the customer to prove your authenticity. You can also check with the credit rating agency about the customer's credibility, etc., or even through ECGC of Government of India. Buyers found through any medium, such checks are required so that you can avoid getting in touch with a suspect buyer or a fraudulent buyer. In export, there are different payment terms, and in that, advance payment is always found to be the best and the safest. But it's not necessarily so. One has to be careful even in case of advance payment. Generally, advance payment is given by the customer only in special cases. These special cases can be like where your product is customized or fully or partially, or it is a software export, or the value of your export is so small that customer doesn't want to go through the LC costing, etc. Normally, the advance payment is communicated through a SWIFT message of the bank. The SWIFT message will be, copy of the same will be given to you by the customer on mail or WhatsApp message or whatever. Please ensure that the SWIFT message which you have received, whether the payment is actually received by the bank in your account or not. Many times these SWIFT messages are not genuine. So better ensure that the payment is actually received. In such cases, you can be more safer. Even a part advance payment is also given by the customer, where they give 30% and the balance will be given against BL copy or etc. You have to be careful on such account also. Don't be over enthusiastic, as it is said, where angels dare, it is the fools who rush in. The second payment terms which is always safer is payment through LC. It is safer than open account transaction. However, LC transaction is also not 100% safe. It is always better to consult your bankers about the terms and condition of the LC. The bankers are always your best advisor and the well-wisher. Terms and condition of the LC has to be properly understood and confirm that you can comply all of them. Again, as I said, consult your banker whether all the terms and conditions are okay or not. There are certain terms and conditions which are not acceptable to you or which are not desirable, like the quality check, if it is to be done at the destination. This kind of LC terms should be avoided, and the quality check should be done at the port of shipment only. After studying the LC, if you find that there are certain terms and conditions which is not acceptable to you, ask for an amendment and After the amendment is received, then only proceed for the shipment. Negotiation under reserve or restricted LC, etc. should be also understood very well so that you don't run into problem. In short, it is always better that once the LC is received, you go to your bank and confirm with them that all the terms and conditions which are given in the LC are okay and it can be complied by you, and then only proceed with the shipment. Non-LC business. It's true that LC business is safest for exporters, but it's not necessarily that all customers will accept these payment terms. If other exporters are offering non-LC payment terms to the same customer, why would he give a LC to you? He doesn't give you any special preference or a benefit. So you will have to fall in the line by offering the business on non-LC payment terms. Now, there is a risk in that, but then you will have to cover your risk and cover it in such a manner that you are not adversely affected. Not taking any risk is the biggest risk, as it is said. So one has to take the risk. You will have to analyze that why you should do business on open account or why you should not. Understand the open account risk factors and the benefits thoroughly, and then implement it judiciously and selectively. Now, when we are doing export in open cover, non-LC, the first and the most important agency comes in our mind, especially for Indian exporter, is ECGC, Export Credit and Guarantee Corporation. Importance of ECGC we will now see. This is good whether you are a beginner or a regular exporter. ECGC covers different kind of risk. Number one is the commercial risk. The commercial risk is of a particular buyer for a particular limit, and it takes care on in case of the default of the customer. The second is political risk. In case of any political turmoil which happens in a particular country, the political risk is covered by ECGC. Then if it is a commercial and political risk combined together, it is called a comprehensive risk. That also can be covered by ECGC. Then there is an open cover for all your exports, where your entire export turnover is taken care under this policy, where there is a separate limit for each buyer fixed by ECGC. There are certain things which you need to follow in case if you are taking ECGC policy, such as you have to give your all export data or monthly export done to the ECGC. In case of any default by the customer or a delay, you have to inform to ECGC. ECGC will not entertain any claim in case if the dispute is related to quality or it is related to non-compliance of any terms and condition of the contract which has been entered between the buyer and the seller. In other words, you can say that ECGC is like a LIC policy for the exporter. So to be safe, it is always better to do your business with ECGC policy. Now, we will have to look at the reasons for default. Normally, the first reason which is there is the dispute in the quality. This will have to be resolved by testing the quality of the product which has been exported at the destination by between the buyer and the seller, and if required, a third party also can be involved. If the quality is not as per the buyer's specification, then either you will have to resolve the problem commercially or you have to replace the product. If the quality is okay as far as the exporter is concerned and it is proved that it has been as per the terms and the condition of the contract, then if the customer is not paying, either you will have to find a new buyer in that particular country or in other country and divert the goods. The second is the non-compliance of any terms and condition of the contract, like delayed shipment, etc. You will have to settle this claim of the customer amicably, again same way, either to find out a new buyer or offering a discount to the customer. While negotiating with the customer, there are certain factors which one has to keep in mind. One is the mutual trust between the buyer and the seller. which has been built upon with years experience, the past business and the prospect of the future business. One will have to also keep in mind the law of the land, especially for exporter as well as the importer. Then the circumstances which led to the problem. At times there are certain circumstances which is the beyond control of the customer as well, like sudden devaluation of the currency or some political disturbance or whatever. One will have to sit across the table and find out the best solution for the mutual benefit. The settlement may be done sitting across the table for the benefit of both the parties. A peaceful negotiation, if it is not achieved between the two parties, involvement of the third party also can be explored. We have so far seen how to ensure the payment security. However, in case of default, God forbidden if it happens to you, how you can handle the same. We will see that now. This happens with one and all. It's a part of the business. You will have to face it with calm and confidence. Dar gaya to mar gaya. Non-payment, short payment, delayed payment. All three have its own implications. As per FEMA rules, 100% payment has to be received within 180 days from the date of export. If it is not, then it has its own implications. The implications are not only the financial loss of the exporter, but it can lead to the FEMA regulation, and the problems can be multiple. You may have to return the incentives which you have claimed, if any. So one has to be very careful on such accounts. Now, the legal action. If all effort fails and the disagreement persists, and if you find that the intention of buyer is not good, then you are compelled to take legal actions. If your export is covered under ECGC, you will have to make a claim from ECGC, and the rest of the process will be done by ECGC and you together. The second is that if you do not have ECGC cover, then you will have to approach the recovery agents. They will do all the process at some charges which you will have to do it. The third is to file a suit against the customer for non-payment, and you must file a suit against the customer in his country and not in your country, not in India. Filing a suit in his country is better for two reasons. One, the things move comparatively faster in a foreign country than in India. And the second is that it will build up a kind of a pressure on the customer if there is a legal case in his country. Non-realization of export proceed is not only a loss to the exporter, but is also a violation of law of land, and exporter has to take immediate action for non-realization, as not taking any action can lead to a serious FEMA implications. One has to take action, otherwise it can be even converted into a criminal offense. So taking necessary action in case of default of the payment is a must. We wish you a safe and a good export.
For detailed learning of all logistics subjects, visit www.logiveda.com.